Hello everybody, my name is Cara. Today I'm here with the Horoscope Book Tag. This tag was originally created by Books with Brandywine, and she was also the one who tagged me. I will of course link her original video down below. Also, I'm really sorry. Somebody is very enthusiastically mowing their lawn outside. I don't know when they're gonna stop, but I need to film right now, so we're just gonna press on, okay? So I'm not like super well versed in like zodiac signs or anything, but all you have to really do is look up the horoscopes for a particular day, the day that you're filming on. I am filming this on May 2nd. And then you match a character from a book with each of the horoscopes, which I think is super cool. I just used the website that she put in her original video, so let's get started. The first is Aries, which is my zodiac sign. Your efforts on the domestic front have certainly paid off. Your home is looking wonderful. Everyone who enters says so. Some unexpected visitors may stop by for a quick hello and wind up staying for dinner. You are a natural, gracious host, not to mention a great cook. Who can blame your guests for wanting to stay? So the character that I chose is Ezekiel from the Tea Dragon Society by Katie O'Neill. He's a little bit gruff or standoffish, or people think that he is, but he's really got this warm heart underneath, and he is very welcoming, and he really does like kind of gather the main characters around, and they have tea that they make from the tea dragon leaves, and I think his home is definitely very cozy feeling, and I would love to spend time with him. I can definitely see people wanting to stay a lot longer. Number 2, Taurus. Your domestic life may not run as smoothly as you'd like today. There's not much you can do about it except roll with the punches. There are likely to be spills made, delays that occur, and alarm clocks that fail to ring. Blame it on the planets and try not to let these minor inconveniences upset you too much. The big picture is still very much a rosy one. And for that I chose Cece from Sorcery Cecilia by Patricia C. Reedy and Caroline Stevermer, I think that's the other author. So this is like an epistolary novel that pretty much feels like Jane Austen with magic, and I really loved it. Cece is definitely my favorite of the two lead characters, and I love her. I think she really fits this question because she's very like practical and kind of no nonsense, but she's also really fun. So she does kind of get into scrapes, not as much as Kate, the other narrator, but she does kind of run into trouble, but she's very much like, let's just move past it and keep doing what needs to be done, and I really like her. Number 3, Gemini. A gathering devoted to spiritual pursuits and or studies could well degenerate into an explosive quarrel between some of the members. They disagree, and at this point there's no way to reach an accord. If allowed, they'll just go round and round. Use your leadership abilities to put a cork in it. Change the subject to something more neutral. They can discuss the subject again in a day or so when they've calmed down. This is like a very specific horoscope, I feel like, but I think this perfectly fit Binti from Binti Home by Nydia Okorafor. In this novella, Binti returns home after the very traumatic events of the first book, and she's having a hard time kind of fitting back in with her family and with their community. And she wants to, but they don't really accept the changes that have happened to her because of what she went through, or at least some of them don't accept that. And there is this kind of pilgrimage that Binti wants to go on, and there is this tension between her community and her because she still wants to be a part of their culture and their beliefs, and she still is very much a part of them, but she is different now than she was when she left, and some people don't like that. And that pilgrimage and how that fits into their worldview is definitely pretty important in this novella, and I think it's going to be even more important in the third one. Number 4, Cancer. A pleasant outing could get delayed or cancelled due to an event entirely out of your control. Rather than having a fit, you and your friends could seize the opportunity to do something completely wild and different. You could take in a matinee of the scariest movie in town, for example, or finally try out that Ethiopian restaurant you've been hearing so much about. Today brings a perfect opportunity to make lemonade out of lemons. So I took this in a bit more serious direction, but I do think this really fits the character of Yumiko from Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. She is definitely a fun-loving character, kind of a go-with-the-flow sort of character, and even though the obstacles that they run into are pretty serious, and her adventure or journey that she goes on is not as lighthearted as a cancelled event or outing, I do think this kind of fits with her because I do think she would use the opportunity to try new things, and like we see her doing that, exploring new cities that she's never been to before. Number 5, Leo. A social event hosted by a female friend might not be the greatest of parties you've ever been to. Someone there could get drunk and obnoxious, upsetting everyone present. You'll want to provide some support for your hostess, but it's best if you get some help in taking the pest home. Otherwise, it could get ugly. Once the drunk is gone, you could return to the party. Everyone will be so relieved they'll want to celebrate. Again, I feel like this one is extremely specific, but I haven't looked at horoscopes in a while, so maybe that's just how they are. And I'm going to go with the character of Sibella from Dark Triumph by Robin Lefevers. I can definitely see her like removing an obnoxious guy from a party that her friend is having, maybe like the Duchess is having. I feel like this probably happened at some point actually. And as far as like needing help to get him out of the way, I don't think she would necessarily need help, but I definitely think that Beast would be around to help her remove the troublemaker. Number 6, Virgo. A sudden and unexpected release of tension could come to you today. Something that has been restricting you and limiting your growth is going to disappear, and you'll want to run through the streets shouting, "Thank the Lord." From here on out, my friend, certain desires that have been eluding you could very well start actually manifesting in your life. life. One of them could be a new romance. What else need we say? I'm going with Ruby Chertok from Night Music by Jen Marie Thorne. Now, if you saw my most recent wrap-up, which hopefully is up by now, I did not fall head over heels for this book like I wanted to, but I do think Ruby really fits the question, because in this book, she really is, there is kind of this release of tension as she lets go of things that she thought she wanted for so long and that she tried to make herself want or tried to make herself achieve. And this is really a book about, among other things, Ruby kind of letting go of those expectations that she has put on herself or that other people have, and trying to find her own path and what makes her happy. And there is definitely a romance in this book that is very prominent between her and Oscar. Next is Libra. Spreading the word about some concepts in which you believe very strongly is probably going to take up much of your day today. You could well do some research or writing, or you might teach a class or lead a discussion group of some kind. This should be both enjoyable and informative. The only downside is that you might come on too strong for some members of your audience. Remain objective and play it cool. And for this one, I picked Ella from Disenchanted: The Trials of Cinderella by Megan Morrison. This is a Cinderella retelling, of course, and Ella's mission in this book is really taking down unsafe workplace practices, and she's really fighting against that and trying to get like a labor union movement kind of started. So it's like a pretty revolutionary idea that she wants to achieve. And there is definitely like this school setting where she tries to convince other people. And even though I don't necessarily agree with the like remain objective kind of thing, because I think these are objectively bad things that are happening, but I do think that Ella does struggle a little bit with how she's presenting her argument and how to be convincing about something that she's very passionate about without alienating her audience. So not necessarily like dialing down her morals, but just presenting things in a certain way. I think she does have a hard time with that at first. Next is Scorpio. Have you been feeling very psychic all day today? Has a recent dream or premonition come true? Any insights that you receive today aren't likely to be clothed in complex symbolism. They should be forthright and upfront, easily understandable. Write them down when they come. You'll want to check them later. The only downside, some of what you're sensing, perhaps involving a public figure you admire, might be a little disturbing. Be prepared. So this one is a little of a stretch because I kind of ignored the like dream or psychic aspect of that one because I couldn't really think of something for that. But I'm gonna go with Syra from the third book in the Time series that I just talked about. This is Transformed: The Perils of the Frog Prince. And like I said, the dream aspect I don't think is necessarily present in this one, but definitely the kind of like revelations about a public figure. This book features like an election kind of season, and that gets tangled up with some kind of like fantasy equivalent of GMOs and like food regulations, and then like a plague that's happening. So there's a lot that gets kind of mixed up in that. And a lot of the suspects are authority figures or people that are very respected in the community. And that's one of the things that this book handles really well. And one of the things that makes it hard for Syra to kind of pursue his investigation or his exploration of what's going on. Number 9 is Sagittarius. You are ready for something new and different at home. It could be something as simple as redecorating the living room or beginning a minor bathroom renovation, or you could be in need of a major overhaul in your relationship. Whichever it is, remember that any remodeling plan, regardless of whether it's physical or emotional, benefits from a clear blueprint depicting the steps necessary to achieve the desired end product. I'm gonna go with Goethe from The Raven and the Reindeer by T. Kingfisher. This is a really fantastic, really short Snow Queen retelling that is a female-female romance, and it is just beautifully written. The world building and everything is really fantastic, and I do really love the characters. And the reason I chose Goethe for this is because throughout the book, she's really coming to terms with her sexuality, among other things, and like how she feels about particular characters. And I just think that was explored really beautifully. Plus there's the whole like going on an adventure to rescue her best friend thing. So that's definitely ready for a change at home, I guess. Number 10 is Capricorn. Dreams and visions should shed light on some rather difficult issues you've been trying to resolve, and as a result you can finally make them all disappear. This should represent more than relief to you. It's a blessing. Your friends might want to take you out to celebrate, but instead you'll probably want to just sit home and wallow in your newfound contentment. Open a bottle of wine, put on a favorite CD, and relax. You've earned it. And I'm gonna go with Rendi from Starry River of the Sky by Grace Lynn. And this is another one where I kind of bent the rules a little bit because it's not so much dreams and visions as storytelling that makes him realize some things about his life and about who he is and who other people are. I just really loved the way that storytelling was incorporated in this book and how important it was to the characters. So I guess they like friends wanting to take him out, but he wants to stay at home. I guess that kind of applies because at first he's really not into wanting to spend time with these people, but he ends up becoming like very close to them. Number 11, Aquarius. Welcome back to the world of the living. You've been so preoccupied with your existential questions lately that you've been missing the point about letting go and enjoying the hand that life has dealt you. Now that you're more in tune and present in your daily life, you're able to recognize and appreciate the joy that you find from moment to moment. It's been an important discovery. Well done. I'm going to go with Kiran Malla from The Serpent's Secret by Sayantani Dasgupta. She's definitely grappling with some big questions about who she is, who her family is, what her kind of mission in this world is, like what she should be trying to accomplish or how she can do it. But I think ultimately she does come to a much stronger sense of who she is and who her family are. She definitely becomes much more confident in her worth and her abilities and her place in her family and the world, and I just love it. And finally, number 12 is Pisces. A friend could be feeling very down today, probably seeing only the negative side of everything. You might have to listen to his complaints all day, which could make you feel a little down too. He probably isn't going to be cheered up, so don't waste your time trying. Tell him you're busy and we'll talk to him later. Tomorrow he should be his usual upbeat self, so feel free to get together with him then. Ugh, people. So I actually have a big issue with that one. I don't like the fact that a daily horoscope is like telling someone not to try and make their friend feel better. That's like a case-by-case decision that I don't think a daily horoscope should be making for people. So for this one, I decided to go with a character I actually really don't like that I think of as a very, very selfish friend. And that is the friend from Let's Talk About Love by Claire Kahn. Alice's best friend. I don't even remember her name, but she was a terrible friend. Like, she was awful. She was just really selfish, and she just treated Alice really badly. And we're supposed to feel like these girls were so close and they meant so much to each other. They had this huge fight that I think is completely Alice's friend's fault. And it's like when we see them try to make up, I think we're supposed to feel like both sides made mistakes, but I'm pretty much 100% on Alice's side. Like, I think her friend is just a really bad friend. She's really selfish. She doesn't listen to what Alice needs. She abandons her in situations where Alice doesn't feel safe. Like, there's a lot of problems I had with her. And while I liked some aspects of that book, that friendship was a big detractor for me. Okay, everybody, so that was the horoscope book tag. It might tag a couple of people down below who I think might enjoy doing this. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you soon with another video, and I hope you love the next book you read. Bye!